So, following through on my Batman video that I did just a little while ago, here is Batman Returns. Batman Returns. It's from 1992. The second of the Tim Burton Batman movies. This one brings back the same Michael Keaton Batman that we had in 1989. I guess I'll get that out of the way. The actors that are in here are Michael Keaton, of course, as Bruce Wayne / Batman. I think that Michael Keaton's performance as Batman, I don't care what you say, is the best Batman. Fight me. Well, no, don't bother. Don't waste your keystrokes on arguing with me on this. I really like Michael Keaton because of his, comedic acting and Mr. Mom and Gung Ho, Night Shift, Jack Frost. Anyway, I like Michael Keaton, and I think his performance as Batman is probably still my favorite Batman. But other actors you get in here. The first one I've got to mention just because I think he's kind of really the main villain in this movie, and that would be Christopher Walken as Max Shreck. Now, we all love Christopher Walken, right? Because you know what I'm talking about. You know Christopher Walken. Come on, man. The Dead Zone, Pulp Fiction, Brainstorm. Anyway, Christopher Walken plays a character called Max Shreck, who is really like a Gotham City supervillain. Of course, Tim Burton being the director of Batman Returns, of course he's going to name a character after the guy who played, Dracula in Nosferatu from 1922. I'm sure that Tim Burton grew up reading that name in a bunch of books and magazines and stuff and loving that movie, and he's like, I'm going to name a character after that. And Tim Burton also directed a movie called Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman, is in this movie. He plays the father of Oswald Cobblepot, who is the Penguin. Also in here, I can't remember her name, but I'll put it up there. The lady that played Simone in Pee Wee's Big Adventure plays Mrs. Cobblepot. And I guess naming the Cobblepots, I've got to mention Danny DeVito as Oswald Cobblepot, better known as the Penguin. Now, I really like his portrayal in here, not only because I love Danny DeVito, Taxi, Throw Mama from the Train, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, all the crazy Danny DeVito things that I'll throw a montage up there, I swear. A Danny DeVito montage, he deserves it, I think. Anyway, Danny DeVito, I think, was pretty cool as the Penguin in Batman Returns. He's creepy as fuck, and he's gross looking and scary and just dirty and nasty and nothing like Burgess Meredith in the television show, which I kind of like. I like how they put a new spin on that. It's a darker spin. It's Tim Burton, man. And you also got to admire Tim Burton's casting of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I love Catwoman in this movie. I think she's not only extremely, she's gorgeous and she's sexy and all that stuff, and she kicks ass, but she's so ridiculous that I love her. She's so funny and so dumb in this movie. Like, not that her character is dumb, she's actually quite intelligent, a little insane. It's so campy and so ridiculous, and her performance is so over the top with the whip and the sewn together leather. And now Michelle Pfeiffer, let's go through her resume briefly. She's been in tons of things, but her most notable stuff is like Grease 2, Scarface, The Witches of Eastwick. She played a witch again in Stardust, and you might know her more currently as Janet Van Dyne, aka the original Wasp in the MCU and the Ant-Man movies. But she is perfect as Catwoman, the best Catwoman, my favorite Catwoman of any iteration. So of course, as Alfred, you get the same guy comes back. You get Michael Gough, because it's spelled like Koff, but I think it's actually Michael Gough, because it's spelled like dough. Anyway, who cares? He's Alfred. Alfred's always been the behind the scenes, the guy in the chair kind of thing, right? Yeah, and they get Pat Hingle, I believe is his name, that plays Commissioner Gordon. He's back, of course. And Gotham City is pretty much like Gotham City was when we left it in 1989 after the Joker fell off of that ridiculously tall tower. Except now, we've got some new villains. We've got Max Schreck, who isn't like a costume villain or anything like that. He's more of a mastermind, kind of it reminds me of the Lex Luthor type. Also, of course, the Penguin. Oswald Cobblepot comes up from the sewer and just comes out of nowhere and introduces himself and says, "Hey, I'm a villain." And then you get Catwoman, and you actually get the origin of Catwoman in this, which is cool. I mean, you get the origin of the Penguin too, but Oswald Cobblepot's parents, Pee Wee Herman and Simone from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, they have this deformed child. It's really sad, and it's kind of dark, and he's kind of savage when he was first born, and they keep him in a cage, and then at Christmas time they throw him in the Gotham River, and then he makes his way down the sewer to the zoo, to the penguin enclosure, and he bonds with penguins and becomes the Penguin. I don't know, it's pretty fucked up, man. What is Tim Burton? Origin of Catwoman. She works for Max Schreck, and Max Schreck finds out that she knows some dirty, dark secrets about him and might actually leak said information to people. So he pushes her out of the window and kills her. So he thinks, but she miraculously survives the fall, hits the ground, and is descended upon by an army of cats that they bite her and they lick her and stuff, and she's having a seizure and freaking out and whatever, and then she gets up and then she's selective amnesia, just knows that she wants to take out her revenge on somebody, men in general, I guess. The rest of the movie is pretty much like the interplay between those four main characters. You got your Batman, you got your Penguin, you got your Catwoman, and you got your Shrek. No, not that Shrek. This one's spelled differently. Yeah, so Max Schreck is being blackmailed by the Penguin, so Max Schreck helps the Penguin run for mayor. Whatever weird reason. Okay, it's goofy, and of course there's goofy scenes in it. There's kind of gross scenes. One thing there really is a lot of too, there's a lot of sexual innuendo in this movie, and a lot of overt flirting and groping and romantic interplay between Batman and Catwoman. But it's whoa, hey, aren't you trying to sell toys for this movie? Are you sure kids should be watching this stuff? So yeah, Batman returns. He did return in a big way, and I remember I was not disappointed with this movie when it came out. As a matter of fact, I thought it was almost as good as the first one. I mean, but Jack Nicholson, come on.
This town needs an enema.
I was like, okay, I hope it's good. And it was. It was weird as crap. There's a lot of dark scenes in this movie. There's a lot of scenes of actually Batman straight up murdering people. Not Michael Myers style or anything like that, but he blows up the evil clowns. I think he actually takes out a few live penguins. Yeah, Batman's not afraid to kill people. It's got a darkly comedic, comic booky, gothic style, just like the first 1989 Batman that Tim Burton did. I mean, a lot of the same people worked on this movie that worked on the previous one. Music by Danny Elfman again. I mean, it sure seems like the actors had a lot of fun filming this movie. Batman isn't in the movie as much as he could be, but it's because we have so much other cool stuff to throw in there, and it's well, we already know about Batman. We know Batman. Oh, he has a couple new gadgets. He has I don't know if it's an airplane or a submarine or a boat or hydrofoil, but it's like the sewer skimmer thing, and he's like sailing down the sewer going after the Penguin, and like, what? Not as cool as the Batwing. Oh, the Batmobile? It's pretty much the same Batmobile as the last movie, with a few mods on there. The Penguin's henchmen, they managed to mess with it so that when Batman gets behind the wheel, turns out it's actually the Penguin driving the Batmobile, because I guess his plan is to make Batman crash and die. You couldn't just make it blow up? So yeah, overall, what would I give Batman Returns? I would give Batman Returns an A-. Minus because it's not as good as Batman, but it's by no means a bad movie. I think it's bizarre enough that it makes it fun, and it's fun enough that you don't mind it being bizarre. It was not really like any other superhero movie you're gonna see. Sure as shit wasn't like those Superman movies. Yeah, despite all that, it's a fun time. It's, again, one of the best Batman movies. Not the best, maybe second best. Anyway, Batman aside, until the next video, have a good one out there, everybody.